Hello and welcome, fellow motorsports fans. It's been a brilliant week of racing, and as always, I am here to tell you all about it. In fact, this was the last sports car race weekend of the year, which hurts a little bit to say. It'll be a month until all the action returns, but don't worry, there's more than enough to cover in the meantime as well. For now, we had the second round of the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East, which it continued to deliver. Pretty strong field. Actually, I feel like the overall field maybe increased a little bit in quality, even though my boy Robert De Haan unfortunately did not compete in this second round. We still had a very competitive fight at the sharp end. Now, not really for the win. Theo Oeverhaus, the German Rookie of the Year and a truly like a quality up-and-coming driver, he did kind of run away with both of the races. He had a bit of an intense duel against Stierk during race 1, on lap 1 before ultimately running away, and in the second race he just got to run away from the get-go. So not the most competitive duel out front, but the mid-pack was very competitive with Stierk, Schuring, Bönighausen, and Jackson Walls and Charlie Wurz. One from the Australian runner-up in the Australian Carrera Cup, the other one up-and-coming, future Formula 3 driver next year. So certainly no unknowns by any means. And they produce a pretty good midfield battle all around. Flynn Schuring is probably the one I impressed most, as in he stepped up quite a bit from his usual sort of middling self. I believe he got P3. Yeah, he got P3 in both of the races, so very good work from him. And overall, a pair of pretty just clean and good races. But we all know, I mean, it's a grid of only like 15 cars, half of which are properly competitive. I do want to point out that probably related to Colin Bönighausen. There was another Bönighausen, I forgot his first name. Klaus Bönighausen, there he is. I've never seen a performance quite as bad as this, or rarely at least. This guy was so far off the pace. That was really, really embarrassing. We're talking multiple seconds of even the second worst gentleman driver on the grid. So horrendous lap times set by him. I don't know if there was something wrong with the car or anything. Nothing's been said. But just wanted to point this out as a particular low point of the weekend, unfortunately. Okay, all of this out of the way, the proper stuff to talk about is obviously all the silly season news in the factory world of sports car driving, let's put it that way. And we shall start with the Akkodis ASP, the Lexus operation in WEC next year, revealing their full lineups for the upcoming season. And I have to say, they have really found two quality driver lineups. One of them, well, hang on, we have to bring them up. Yeah, there they are. So we are going to have Lopez paired up with Esteban Martin and the one and only car guy Takeshi Kimura in the number 87. Yeah, I have to get used to the car name numbers first. So Lopez obviously doesn't need an introduction. Veteran, should be just pure quality in this car. Esteban Martin, actually really good as a silver to have. Very competitive single-seater guy. One of those that just seems to lack the budget to move up, so fantastic to have him in this. Don't expect him to be a silver for very long. And then Takeshi Kimura, obviously, I mean, I've got a soft spot for him. He's one of my favorite gentleman drivers, and I'd say he's pretty competitive as well. Certainly one of the better ones. Maybe not exactly a bronze front runner, but solid enough to the point where he shouldn't hold the car back if everything else goes well, I don't think. The second lineup is led by Kelvin van der Linde. Again, he doesn't really need an introduction. I think I talked about him joining the team when it was announced. One of the top guys left at Audi last year. Probably their best driver left last year, together with the two young guns, one of which we're going to talk about in a second. So quality pro to build around, obviously. Then you have Timo Boguslavski, Akkodis ASP regular, paired up with Marcello for all those years. We all know him. We used to shit on him quite a bit for obvious reasons, because he did not belong in a pro entry, and it's a miracle that Marcello dragged him to so many victories and even championships. But as a silver, I think he's actually quality. He should be one of the quality silvers on the grid. It remains a little to be seen, but I mean, he could very much usually hold his own in at least like the top 10, 15 on like a GT World Europe grid. So the guy is not slow by any means. It's just yeah, amongst full pro entries, he looks a bit out of depth, right? So brilliant silver to work with, and then we have Arnold Robin as the gentleman driver. Um, I don't know an awful lot about him. He's been very solid in the Le Mans Cup this year. That's what I can say. Don't even remember what else he did. He was paired up with VHC and during that season, and been one of the better bronzes on that particular grid. Remains to be seen how well he'll do in a quality field like this, I think. But there is certainly potential there. So I am very excited about both of these driver lineups coming up. If I had to choose one, and we are going to get into predictions when we get closer to the season, but if I had to choose one now, I definitely think the 87, the Lopez led car, looks a bit stronger on paper, but yeah, it'll remain to be seen. Okay, then next up, and this is probably the biggest sort of, I've been waiting for this for a long time, Aston Martin revealing their factory drivers. Now, obviously, for context, they have not really been competing throughout Europe with like factory backed entries at all this year. So they were lacking quite a few drivers for all the programs they have announced. So obviously it was obvious that they were going to sign a few. Looking at Audi drivers was the obvious choice, and I'm really glad they did go with Matteo Drudi, who is just pure quality, one of the part of the European Sprint GT World Challenge winning combo. Fantastic driver. Probably Fella might even be a little better, but yeah, nothing to complain about at all. But signing Drudy, then they got Enrique Chavez, who I think is a fantastic signing. I didn't really expect him to be picked up. I don't know why. Maybe because he just hasn't really been fancied seemingly for any proper pro entries or anything. Usually been paired up in like pro am combos doing his thing. He's had a few fantastic stints this year. I think it was the Spa 24 hours where he really stood out, just charging through the field like a madman. So really happy to see him sign a factory contract and actually maybe be put into overall win contention for a change. I'd love to see how he does there. And then last but not least, they also signed David Pittard, who doesn't really need an introduction. He's one of those all-rounders. He's done fantastic things in Aston Martins this year already. Yeah, what a quality lineup. And then they obviously, it's not like they had nothing to work with before. They still have the Dane Chain team and Sorensen left. They still have what's his name? VHC, Valentin Hasclot, I think. My French. VHC we call him. Fantastic, like up. I'd still call him up and coming. He still feels kind of up and coming as a factory boy, but yeah, I want to see him in more things. He was locked away in the Le Mans Cup a little bit this year. I felt like I was a bit maybe below his standards. And then they have Ross Gunn, obviously. I was about to say there's one more massive name now I'm missing. Ross Gunn, who again, one of those top tier drivers in the British GT all season long. So yeah, I am really excited to see where they decide to use all of their new toys. But honestly, the Aston Martin roster is looking to be one of the most competitive GT3 rosters out there with this, I think. Yeah. So then there's also Ford. Obviously, they also need a bunch of new drivers after not really running any factory back racing at all for years. And they've decided to sign a whole bunch. They've signed 5 new drivers. Now, some I'm more excited about, some I'm less excited about, but I think it goes without saying, all of those are quality. Not Priol is just somebody who I don't have on my radar that much, so I'm not really going to comment on him. The other 4, though, in particular, the Audi guys, Chris Mies and Vervish, that's a steal, getting those 2. In particular, Chris Mies is just one of those like ace drivers for any factory squad. He can do fantastic things. Vervish, obviously, a little on the older side now, but still a very just reliable pair of hands. He's done really well all year long in the GT World Challenge Europe, so I don't see him dropping off. Why would he? he's probably not going to go and set any pole times, but you know what I mean. He is definitely a guy you want to have in your endurance combo. And then one that I'm almost surprised by. I did not quite see him getting picked up by someone else. I mean, I thought he was just going to remain at Porsche, which is Dennis Olsen. He's very good, obviously. He did get wrecked by Thomas Preining in DTM this year. That's like the one thing you know, he's not coming into this in like top form, let's put it that way, but still a quality guy all around. And then Ben Barker, obviously, again, very experienced. So yeah, these are 5 fantastic signings to put around the guys already announced. I'm waiting to see how the actual lineups will shake out before we discuss them. But again, another factory really strengthening its driver roster, which means way more job opportunities for everyone. I am loving this current moment in time for Sportscar Racing. It's, I don't know, lost for words almost. It's just fantastic to see. Then we've got another Porsche guy leaving, and this is a bit of a theme, which is that Lamborghini. It's been rumored, but they've picked up Matteo Caroli, who I think has just been the best GTE Porsche driver this year, period. Picariello has been giving him a run for his money, but I still think Caroli has been the guy to beat in both WEC and IMSA when it comes to Porsche factory boys. So yeah, really looking forward to his new journey. I did not see it happening, even though obviously there were the rumors, but I thought like Porsche should have really held on to him, if you ask me, is my point. I don't know why they would let him go like this, but obviously great for him. He can step up immediately. I mean, fair play to Porsche if they just let him go, because there wasn't going to be a hypercar for him available this year. That's all right, you know. But yeah, and then they are also joined by Eduardo Mortara, who you may or may not know from a few of his Audi shenanigans or his Formula E stint and everything. Quality guy. I'm not on the same level of high on him as I am on like a Caroli or someone like why do I forget his name now? The big man. Hang on. Bortolotti, thanks. My brain sometimes just goes numb for a second. Yeah, obviously, Mirko Bortolotti I'm talking about. The Mr. Lamborghini in my mind. So yeah, either way, again, fantastic lineup. Bit sad that they are only going to have the 2 cars and not even a full season in IMSA and everything. So they probably won't see all that much use, at least not in the hypercar. But yeah, this is something again they've got going for the next few years for him. These are all young guys as well. Like Caroli isn't approaching the end of his career by any means, is he? He's just hitting his prime now. So what a pickup this is. So yeah, this is 4 big factory lineups that we've just discussed. I guess the Lexus one a bit different, but you know what I mean. All of this really exciting. You can let me know down in the comments which one you found most exciting or which signing surprised you the most. That will be really interesting, I think. And then, yeah, last but not least, we have a little announcement that just made me a bit happy, and we're going to link it to another story, which is Porsche will organize a Porsche Cup endurance race around Spa for next year, a 12-hour race, which I just think it's cool, you know. Obviously, with the 24-hour series, we know that there is clearly some sort of market for endurance racing, the Cup cars, and not just there. So it makes sense, you know, it makes sense to give this opportunity, but now I really hope that if it's a Porsche organized thing and like there's going to be more prestige behind it in the, you know, amongst Cup car teams and everything, I hope that we can maybe see some really spicy driver lineups. I'd love to have some like pro Porsche Cup driver lineups, if you know what I mean, in an Enduro. I don't know. Would be fantastic. Nothing's been announced. Maybe it's all Pro-Am. Who knows? Either way, it should be exciting to watch. The one story I want to link this to, and also the other Porsche Exodus. Unfortunately, I could not find the link. It's all just been Instagram announcements, really. But it's Mr. Porsche Cup himself, as we may call him, Larry Tenforder, has decided to leave GP Elite for his Super Cup team and his German Carrera Cup team after years of a very successful partnership, probably the most successful partnership you could imagine in a Cup series. So that was a bit of a shock, and the news broke right after Caroli leaving and Olsen leaving, and so in my mind it was, oh yeah, maybe he finally got a call from Porsche. You know, I mean, yeah, he's getting a bit old to do the step up. Not really, but like he's 26 or something. So if Porsche was interested in him, they would have brought him up years ago. Is the point? But you know, I was slightly optimistic. Maybe it might happen after, or maybe Porsche is running out of drivers. They want to give it a shot, whatever. And then he has announced that he is in fact staying with his team for the Italian Porsche Cup, though. So now I'm more confused than I ever was. Maybe it is just a straightforward team swap. I just wanted to point this out there for clarity. A, because you know, I want to make sure everybody's aware how interested I am in that topic, and B, yeah, just I am looking forward to where he ends up. It is confusing. If you've got any predictions, again, let me know. And if you just want to hear me talk about it when it's time for the actual announcement, you can subscribe to the channel so you won't miss it in the future. Anyway, that's it for the week, and I'll see you all. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.